Okay, welcome everybody today to continuation of our budget meeting. We'll go around the room and have introductions and then resume. Go ahead, Nathan.
Nathan Hughes, Technical Manager.
Mary Jo Beck, Office Support Specialist.
Danielle Hooper, Operations Manager.
Nikki Nichols, CFO.
Henry Heimiller, Board Member.
Robert Anderson, board member.
Brandon Burritt, interim executive director.
Jeff Flatt, Board Member.
Dee Woolley.
Mike Grayson. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Jonathan Barclay, Budget Committee.
Okay. Okay, we have a quorum present. If everybody got a copy of the minutes from our last, the beginning of the meeting on April 24th.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of those minutes as presented.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes as provided. Any discussion? Discussion, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passed unanimously. Any general questions or concern or comments? Okay, we'll go on and discuss the general fund.
Mr. Chair, can I just suggest that you specifically call out public comment?
Sorry,
No, it
Any
was
public
listed
comment?
there, but we,
okay. Any public comments, good questions, and restricted to no more than 3 minutes per person.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. Would you mind if Nathan mentions who else might be online?
Oh,
yes, we have Shelley Hennessy and Jason Kester with Day Wireless.
thank you.
And Louis Levine, sorry, just a wait.
What was that?
We just had a late joiner, Louis Levine.
And we'll go ahead for general fund. Any on personal services.
Is the legal services under that?
Legal services would probably follow under the materials and services.
Okay,
Yeah, legal services is, under general fund materials and services.
Hanson just joined as well online.
Randy didn't make it for pizza.
I know.
Okay. Any questions on the personal services? The next we'll go to materials and services.
I'm curious. Noticed that the legal fees budgeted is pretty high. I'm wondering how much of that is due to certain individual.
The majority of it is.
I believe there's been 5 legal actions filed against us. That's reflected in that cost.
And we do have in that cost also is all the general employment questions that we call and ask our lawyers about, things like that. So that is a part of it also, but the majority is.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions on materials and services? You'll tell me, Nate, if somebody.
Yes, and they can also.
Okay. Next category is capital outlay. Yeah, any questions on the capital outlay? Next, general fund would be transfers. Which is 0.
Say that I think the first time in 32 years that we've seen 0 in our budget for that. That I've been on this board.
Next, would be contingency. In terms, contingency is decreased from previous years too, right?
Substantially.
Probably, yes.
We almost didn't have any this year.
Yeah, we had to get even more creative to even have the little bit that we had or have in there now. And we were trying to get more, but we couldn't cut anything else.
So everything budgeted correctly then for the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will be close.
Unappropriated ending fund balance. Is there any questions on general fund? We'll go to reserve fund. Facilities.
Just to note that obviously the roof issue that we're having is going to come into this fund this year, but just an FYI.
The next reserve fund, let's see, the facility is 655,042. Next, reserve fund is equipment reserve.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to mention here about the equipment reserve fund. There's been talk as we've tried for our levy renewals and those kinds of things that this fund is so large and we should be using this money for operations and other things before we ask the public for additional funds. And I always just like to point out to people how important it is in a system like ours where you have such high tech and high expense equipment for you to have reserves in hand. And we aren't like a fire department that has a reserve fire truck or a sheriff's office that has 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 reserve sheriff's cars sitting around. Our reserves here have to be cash. Because if a major site goes down or a major computer problem happens or whatever it is, we don't have backups of those things sitting around. So our backup is cash. And of course, we've been discussing for many, many years the need for a new radio system and a radio replacement program. And we've been setting money aside for both of those things that, regardless, we have an old radio system today, that radio system still needs maintenance. We have to keep it running at top-notch 100% as we plan for a new radio system. That in this business takes cash, because when we wreck our fire truck, we don't pull the reserve up front and go out to fight fires with a different truck. We don't have that option here. We have to have our personnel be able to telephone all the right people to walk in the door as quickly as they can. And there's no shopping around or anything else. It's get the system back up immediately, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter what. That takes cash. And I'm very proud of the fact that over the years, we've, accumulated the money that we have in our equipment reserve fund now, planning for just that, plus having money for the down payment or the planning costs and all those things for the potential new radio system. So as people talk about our reserves and, the day-to-day operations is not what reserves are for. Reserves are for the unknowns and for those things that we're planning for into the future. And I'd just like to clarify that point as we talk about reserves. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
LB 11 get corrected.
The LB form, yes.
Yeah. Because there was
It was me, Mike. I cut and pasted and I missed those and they had the old numbers and then so I changed them. Thank you.
the figure was in the document in April, well, still April, but April 24th. It was 4,570,695, and it should be 4,727,460.
That first number was last year's number.
And the other reserve fund is revenue loss reserve.
Just to clarify on that, you're going off of the LB form, correct?
Correct.
That correction. Thank you.
Revenue loss 2 has also been needed.
I pulled that over in this year in order that we can still make ends meet. It was kind of a wash. We pulled it out of there, but we still made our transfers for the year because that's what we had sent to the county and budgeted for, so it's just a wash.
Do you have any questions on any of the reserve funds? Okay, then we need to. You have a ULB form that was being corrected, or how do you want to do this?
Yes, I have already made, and I appreciate, first off, thank you so much for any corrections you guys need or see, because by the time we get it to you, we've looked at these numbers so many times. I really appreciate your group of eyes to look it over. Once you sent that information to me, I did update it in the budget document and the LB forms that are online. I can give you each a new set or at least the new page for the equipment reserve fund that had the changes made to it. Which would you prefer?
would the committee like to see it, or
I just take a page.
Okay, perfect. I'll go make some copies. And I will shoot it out to the members who are not present.
Perfect.
There was that other correction too, Mary Jo, right? That I forget, Mike, you pointed out one other one, was it 60,000 and something? And it
oh,
was,
that was in the workbook.
do you want to get a page for that with that correction also?
50 pages, something like that. But it's okay, it's on the LB is correct.
Okay.
It was just the work examples where you gave a total for the individual categories. Sorry for the group. On page 52 of the document. During the power site lease and rent. You budgeted 40,000 in the LB one, which is correct. And it just the example of the total was it's in the budget book, it's $440,500. But it's budgeted at 40,000, which is nothing wrong with that.
Sorry, Nikki. See, I'm gonna take it out. You read this? Or you have the.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Let's see what he was looking at.
I don't think it was in mine.
These numbers here. I guess it's here when this should be. Shelley, John, do you want me to email that to you right now so that you can see it?
That would be fine.
Okay. I apologize. Give me one moment and I'll email that.
And I don't have to see it right now. If you want to email it to me at any point today, that'd be fine.
Okay. Shelley, how do you feel?
Sorry, you could email that to me also.
Okay, do you want me to do it right now or is after the meeting?
No.
Okay.
Just whenever you have time.
Okay, thank you. Brandy, did you have a preference?
Okay. You have need to approve the 2025-26 budget.
I move we approve the 2025-26 budget as corrected and presented.
Second. Motion made and seconded to approve the budget 2025-2026 budget for the 911 district. Any discussion? Anybody on Zoom or any of our guests that are on? No discussion? Call for a vote. Approval of the 25-26 budget. All in favor, say aye.
I,
I,
All opposed, same sign. Motion made anonymously approved. Honestly, I just wait, I didn't hear that. Any comments from the budget committee?
Thanks for doing such a bang up job chairing us.
Work everybody does. It's a good, solid budget. I, some areas for this year or year. But I think you guys will be able to go through.
Well, appreciate Mickey, Mary Jo, Brian, and anybody else that, you know, put this together. A lot of work put into this, so. There you go.
You know, work with numbers all the time and that's a part of it. You just get seeing the numbers all the time. Job.
I just wanted to say thanks for all your hard work on doing this. I know it was a lot of stress for all of you, but it's much appreciated.
I'm just curious, did any of the budget committee members, were you approached by any citizens for the zones that you represent? No. I guess the only reason I ask is I just, you know, kind of find it odd at times that we're accused of not being very open to the public, very transparent. I know I've let a few know that we've had these meetings, or we're going to have these meetings. And they were good because they said that, you know, they say there's a lack of faith or trust with our agency. Yet unfortunately, I don't see the engagement either when we do have these public meetings. So I don't know, I'm just at a loss if anyone has any ideas on how to engage a little bit more.
Well, I can reach out through the PCPs. I've been super busy over the last couple of days, and so that's why I'm not there. But I mean, I don't know how transparent can we be? I mean, can I take this to a PCP meeting? Can I take it to a meetup? Can I take it to wherever and show people what the numbers are because it's public? Is it online? Is it on the website?
Yep, it got, the day that we had our meeting, it got posted online. The corrections are already online. It's a public document, so it can be used for anything, whether for us or against us.
Right.
I just know that we're having in November, potentially gonna go out for the levy. So, you know, I just wish that those who may have had more questions would have asked questions now, but just trying to be proactive, so we can go out there and hopefully spread the word and let people know what it is and receive input and try to answer as many questions rather than wait until November and having the ball drop.
I will say that I've expressed this to Mary Jo, that I was extremely disappointed with nobody in Klatskanai got any newsletter until the latest one. So I think that worked against you also. I didn't see anybody out beating the bushes like we used to do. So I think you're going to have to be really active and proactive to let people know that, you know, it's in danger. So we need to get after that.
Yeah, and definitely messaging like we talked about last week in the newest newsletter for the Republican Party of Columbia County, that it states the position of the party for the levy that's also coming up. And it states in there very clearly how we spoke about the messaging is it's not a new tax. You've already been paying it. It doesn't change. So a yes vote isn't going to put more money onto your property taxes. It's not going to give you an increase. It's already doing the basically keeping the status quo of what it has been for. I think it's 14 years or something. And so I think that's pretty key in the messaging for getting the voters to vote yes on the levy.
I think part of it is apathy. I know with our Arts Commission, all we've heard ever is if you just bring in a Western band, we'll all be there. So we spent $3,000, brought in a Western band from Canada, which was fantastic, had 70 people. So and we worked so hard to get the word out. And I don't know what happens. It's really tough, and especially in Clatskanie with no paper. We have no way other than putting up posters and word of mouth. That's it.
We were able to correct the error, figure out why you guys didn't receive the newsletter 2 newsletters ago. And the mailer that was requested or purchased didn't include PO boxes, so which would include or actually increase quite a few people in Rainier and Clatskanie area that uses primarily PO boxes. So that was an oopsie. But anyway, and we've I think we'll show that we have increased our public outreach significantly by bringing it back in-house. And we're currently right now on a pace to probably overcome some of the things that we haven't done for maybe the last year or 2. I don't know, but I think you'll see a difference in people getting the information, the facts of what we need and what we are putting out there. So I think that's going to help. It's going to increase our education and saturation out there. So that's a good thing.
I thought the second one, the newsletter we got was very well done. Like, it was great, but we just, I was dumbfounded that we didn't get the first one.
Well, if everybody connects to it's what's the address? I should know, but
Which address?
well, the social media and Columbia 911, Facebook. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know the hashtag or
I believe it's just Columbia 911.
just Columbia 911.
okay, so I mean, but if you kind of routinely click on that and share that link with others that you speak to about what's going on here, what we're doing,
It's the word out.
it gets the word out. And the more people that follow those links, it's kind of a bit odd for us to, I guess, date myself, to have news, on social media be a primary source of information for a lot of the folks out there today, especially lack of newspapers and some of the things that we routinely use to keep up to date. So it's a new world. Dee, you said one time that there was a news outlet in Washington, correct? But a lot of people from Clatskanie.
Yeah, that's the Wahkiakum Eagle.
Wahkiakum Eagle, and that's, I think I've passed that along, but we need to make sure that we share that as well as probably the date, is it the daily?
The Daily News
in Longview. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of residents right here.
Yeah.
Also the Columbia River Reader, that goes up and down the whole highway.
Right.
And they're out of Longview too, but oftentimes people pick that up.
We started calling it the Day Late News instead of the Daily News because it's not the best. It is all we have. So
Well, I think one thing is, it's easy to kind of have initiatives that start, and it's hard with a busy agency and a lot of people doing a lot of things to kind of let it wane. But I think we're committed to carry on with the increase of community outreach and education. So, and I don't have any doubt that it's going to continue to get even more and reach more and
Yeah.
tell the story.
Any other comments? Mary Jo or Mickey, anything else we need to do?
Just thank you all for your participation. I mean, we couldn't do this without you guys. So
Yes.
Really
very much
appreciate it.
appreciated. Absolutely.
It was a team effort, but special mention, Mary Jo and Nikki, you know, did the heavy lift and making sure that this was all together. It was, they deserve a, you know, a day off.
Yeah, for sure.
How about some extra
Something.
pizza?
Some more pizza, more pizza. Maybe you can leave at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
An hour later than we thought. Nice.
No, thank you very much.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and adjourn. Any objections? They'll be staying here by themselves.